And in this class, I'll discuss Karl Marx. Karl Marx. Karl Marx, we all know that he's very influencing thinker, directly mentioned in your syllabus. Though it is very much true that we cannot say that this is one of the sociologists. Rather, he has influenced, his thought influenced the wide ranges of areas, and those influences his thought. The thought of Karl Marx influences the concept of family, marriages, the concept of gender, women, the concept of stratification, the state, inequality. So because of this, Karl Marx is very much important in our discipline, sociology. And that is why this is there in our syllabus. So the basic concepts, we know that the Karl Marx, the approach or the perspective was the conflict perspectives. We all know the conflict, that is means the contradiction between different groups. That contradiction is not always between oppression and oppressed. Rather, it could be the owners of certain kinds of forces of production with another kinds of owners of the another kinds of forces of productions. So these things are there. We are not going to detail in these things this time. Rather, we just have a kinds of brief ideas of this Karl Marx, that is the conflict perspectives. And this Karl Marx has rejected that the ideas of that functionalism, that each part contribute in maintaining solidarity and stability of society. So this says this is not true always, because these ideas actually of the dominant classes. So this class 1 and the contradiction, the struggle, these are the things that is very much close to the Karl Marx. That is why we call it conflict perspective. So Karl Marx have never used the word sociology, but he is very much important for a student of sociology, because his thought has influenced many social institutions, many influence the concepts of the state itself, the concepts of marriage, family, kinship, religion, gender. So that is why Karl Marx is very much important for the student of sociology. So let's see which theories are you are expected to study, or which theories that is there in the syllabus. First thing that is there in syllabus is historical materialism. historical materialism. Second thing is mode of production. Second thing is mode of production. Third one is alienation, and the fourth one is class struggle. So alienation and class struggle. These theories or ideas on this historical materialism, mode of production, alienation, and class struggle, you have to study these things thoroughly or deeply, so that you can write a good answer in your exam. So let's see the basics of this one of the ideas, that is the historical materialism of Karl Marx. So I just erase these three one. Yes. And now this historical materialism there. So let's see what is this historical materialism. First see the word materialism. Material, the importance of material. Earlier Hegel was there, that has given the importance of consciousness, ideas, thought. Supreme importance was given to that. But Karl Marx says no. Matter influences thought. So the main thing is the matter. So material things are real and influencing other things. So the basic thing is these materials. So what is materialism? The ideas of materials as real, that is exist in the social relation, because these ideas that talked about by Hegel was thought, that is there in the mind, and this materialism or the matters or materials you found in your society. So these are the real things and the ideas is the abstract things. So first thing is this: materials are real and affect, and its influences and affects consciousness, that is the thought. Consciousness of individuals, or you can say the thought of individuals. So the importance lies with materials, not with ideas as told by Hegel. Hegel says this ideas or thought actually influences your material conditions. Karl Marx says no, these materials are real and these things actually influences and affects your thought of the individuals. So, and this thing further he says that these materials are there that what is that? The production, because human being has certain kinds of needs. As per their needs, they go for the production. While they are going for the production, not in isolation but the social, For the social production, they come into certain kinds of relationship with each other, and in this way, as per their needs, their relation changes. And here you can say, as the need changes, their relation changes, and here you can say the history is, or the periods of the history is changed. So the history is nothing but that those periods, the time of certain, you can say that matters or materials production. That material production because of needs. As needs changes, so the types of society or the relationship, the relations of production changes, and this relation of production shows the types of society. So the type of society, you can have certain kinds of linkages with the material conditions of certain period of time. That material conditions has certain kinds of relationship with the needs and the relationship that developed during the social production in society. So this matter is very much important, one thing, and the history, the epochs, the periods of history changes because of this, because of the way you produce, or because of the relations of productions you have, because this production activities. So the relations of productions and the epochs of the history is very much related. So the matters has certain kinds of relationship with history. That is, history can be explained through the relations of production, or you can say the material conditions, or the material conditions of certain relations. So this history is explained, no, history, or you can say the periods of history is explained through these material things, because materials is very much important. These materials affect your thought, affect your relationship, and certain kinds of society you are having. So this is very much important. So let's see what does it mean in 2 points. First thing, historical materialism means what? First thing is, the society has reached its present state passing through various periods of society. So where the history, there are many periods, and the present period is passing through, that has arrived at by passing through many other periods of the history. So these are the things, the current periods and the previous one, and what could be the next one. So first thing, you should understand this present or the current state of society has arrived, has come after passing through various other periods. What are those periods? We would see those things. And second one is this material and economic changes or conditions that actually influences or pushes one society to change into another. So this material, or you can say the economic. So this material or economic changes brings changes in the society or the periods of society. Okay, so this is the 2 point. First thing, earlier there was different periods, now we are living in the different periods, and the future could be different. And this all, the second point is this all because of this material changes, or you can say you would understand when FOP, ROP, and MOP, mode of production. So this material changes actually pushes one kinds of society to change into the next one. Okay. Now, what kind of society he sees, what kinds of periods in the history Karl Marx sees. According to Karl Marx, the earliest kind of society we have is primitive communism. After that, because of this material changes or the economic changes or infrastructural changes, we have slavery, a society of slave and masters. After that, third kinds of society, that is the feudalism, having the feudal lords and the serfs. Feudal lords, that is very much related with the lands and state systems. And after that, a new kind of society, that is current society, according to Marx at that time, was the capitalist society. To capitalism. And these are the three: the past, one, the present, and the one is the fifth one. He professed about this future society, that is the communism. So in all, we have four societies and one in the future. Primitive communism, what is that? You have to learn that the characteristic of this primitive communism, slavery, feudal and capitalist society, and after that communism. In every society there are class struggles. In every society there are conflict between two, the one with having certain kinds of forces of production. You can say the old forces of production representing as FOP0 and the new forces of production FOP1. Because of these forces of productions, we have certain kinds of relations of production. What is the relations of production? The relations between, you can say, who owns that forces of production, who does not, and the relation between, you can say, for the capitalist society, in fact, proletariat and bourgeois. For the feudal society, relation between feudal lords and serf. For slavery, slave and masters. So these are there. These all because of the certain kinds of forces of productions. Once this forces of production is changed, so the owners of new forces of productions want to establish a new kinds of relations of productions. So the owners of earlier forces of productions are in conflict with the owners of new forces of productions, and because of this conflict, a revolution coming, and once the new relations of production establishes, a new society comes in. So the new society is nothing but the new establishment of the new relations of production because of the changing forces of production. The only thing that is important here is to understand that in capitalism, in every society, those the owners of forces of owners, or you can say the dominating class, that is always oppressing the uh, underdeveloped class, and the dominating class is called the oppressor, and the other class is the masses is called the oppressed one. So these two classes are there. One is exploiting the another. So these are the things, but the changes is all because of the relations of production, because of the ownership between the two, that is the ownership of forces of production and of the earlier one and the new one. These only comes from the ownership class. So the changes earlier was because of the owner interest of the clash of the interest of the ownership class. But in capitalism, the things is different. For Marx, because of the very high competition, the number of exploited class or the exploited ones would increase, and also the nature of exploitation would increase. The exploitation would be very high because of this, because of the nature of this capitalism and the competition and all those, maximizing the profits. So in this, the heightened exploitation is there. What happens? The exploited class, that would got certain kinds of consciousness of their exploitations, and they start to having a certain kinds of class for making class for itself, that you would learn later. That is means a very much aware class, very much class that is very much, you can say, intended to overthrow the oppressor one, and they are very organized one. So here in capitalism, the clash of interest, or the fight between, the struggle between these owners of forces of production and these non-owners of forces of productions, or you can say the exploiter and exploited one. Yes, oppressor and oppressed, oppressor and oppressed one, and this will bring a new kind of society, and that would be the communism, where there will be no caste division. So this is the basic thing that Karl Marx actually advocate in historical materialism, and that would be very much attached with the modes of ideas of modes of production. So what we learn here is the periods of history are there because of this material changes, or the economic changes, or the infrastructural changes, or you can say the changes in the relations of productions, and those periods of society is enumerated as primitive communism, then slavery, then feudal, and then capitalist. And the future society is communism. So this is the basic thing that is there in the Karl Marx. You have to learn all those things in great detail while reading this Karl Marx. So the general conditions that is determined by the material needs of individuals, and in that satiating, or you can say providing their needs, they come into, you can say, the kinds of relations with each other. In that relation, there are relations between owners and non-owners, and the relation between the forces on productions and relations of productions. So these are the things that is very much important. That says that material and economy, materials and economy, that is very much important, that shapes your ideas, that shapes other things. That means the basic thing is your economy or materials, and that is called infrastructure according to Karl Marx. And this influences other social institutions, the floating ideas. This all is dependent upon these material conditions or infrastructure, and this is the base. So the other things that is developed, be it economy, be it polity, be it uh, religion, be it family, and other things. So all these are depends on these economic or material conditions. So this is called the infrastructure, and this is called the superstructure. The superstructure and infrastructure kinds of words are there. Superstructure, that is actually dependent on infrastructure. So these things are there in Karl Marx. So understand these things in greater detail, and we wish that you enjoy the reading Karl Marx very much. So start reading Karl Marx, and also I have told in the earlier class how to read thinkers, which thinkers you should read first after reading certain thinkers, which thinkers you should go. So you can also think on those advice I have given you to you. So thank you.